When my girlfriend said, "Let's be honest, you're not really my type," I agreed completely. When she found out my type was her best friend who'd been crushing on me, honesty became a less attractive policy. I'm Wesley, 29, male, and sitting here in my new apartment in downtown Portland, unpacking boxes with someone who actually wants to be with me, while my ex blows up my phone, demanding I stop this childish game. Funny how honesty is only attractive when it works in one direction. 6 weeks ago, my girlfriend Natalie, 27, and I were having dinner at her place. We'd been together for 2 years, living together for the last 8 months in her beautiful Victorian house in the Pearl District. Out of nowhere, she puts down her wine glass, a 2019 Pinot Noir from Willamette Valley, and says, "We need to talk about something." Never a good start. "I've been thinking a lot lately," she said, twirling her pasta around her fork. "Let's be honest, you're not really my type, like physically or personality-wise. I usually date more ambitious guys, taller, more athletic, you know? Think Chris Hemsworth meets Elon Musk." I set down my fork, the homemade carbonara suddenly losing its appeal. "Okay." She seemed surprised I wasn't arguing. "I mean, I care about you. You're stable, reliable, good boyfriend material, but there's no spark anymore. I think we should open the relationship. Let me explore what I'm actually attracted to while we maintain what we have." Translation: I want to sleep with other people while keeping you as my emotional and financial safety net. You know what, Natalie? You're absolutely right. You're not really my type either. Her face went through about 5 different expressions: surprise, confusion, anger, disbelief, and back to anger. What? Yeah. I prefer women who are more, I don't know, genuine, kinder, who actually laugh at jokes instead of analyzing them for their comedic structure, who can have fun without documenting every moment for their Instagram story. So yeah, I agree. We're not each other's types. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, please, Wesley. Don't be petty. We both know you're lucky to have me. Look at this place, look at the life I've given you. If you say so, but since we're being honest, I think we should just break up." Clean break. You can explore what you're actually attracted to, and so can I. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. I'm talking about growing together, exploring while maintaining our foundation. Nah, I'm good. I'll start looking for my own place tomorrow. She stood up, angry now. "You're being ridiculous. Where would you even go? You can't afford a place like this on your software developer salary." She was right about the house. She'd inherited it from her grandmother, so no mortgage. I just paid utilities, groceries, and helped with the property taxes. But I'd rather live in a studio apartment than stay with someone who just told me I'm basically a placeholder boyfriend until Thor shows up. Her best friend, Brooklyn, 28, texted me that night. She'd heard about the breakup already because Natalie had called her immediately to complain about my immaturity and complete overreaction to constructive feedback. "Hey, heard about you and Nat. You okay?" "Yeah, actually feeling pretty good. Apparently I'm not her type." "Oh, that's insane. She doesn't know what she's losing." "Thanks." Random question. "Do you know any apartments available? Need to move ASAP." "Actually, yeah. My building in the Hawthorne district has a 1-bedroom opening next month. Want me to introduce you to the landlord? It's nothing fancy, but it's got character." The entitlement started almost immediately after I signed the lease for the new apartment. Natalie couldn't believe I was actually leaving. She kept saying things like, "You're really going to throw away 2 years over one conversation?" And, "I was trying to be honest about my feelings. Isn't that what couples are supposed to do?" The day I was packing, she stood in the doorway of the bedroom, watching me fold my Denver Broncos jerseys and pack my collection of Stephen King novels. "You know Brooklyn's apartment is tiny, right? It's like 500 square feet. You'll be miserable. It's 720 actually. And it's perfect for me." "How do you know the exact square footage?" "Because I signed the lease yesterday." Her face went red. "You're moving into Brooklyn's building? Are you serious right now?" She helped me find a place. "Is that a problem?" "She's my best friend and she's being a good friend by helping you out." Her air quotes were aggressive enough to puncture something. Natalie grabbed her iPhone and started furiously texting. I knew she was messaging Brooklyn. I continued packing while she had her meltdown, carefully wrapping my vintage vinyl collection. 20 minutes later she came back, phone still in hand. "Brooklyn's not answering me. Maybe she's busy." "She's never too busy for me." "What did you say to her?" "Nothing. We just talked about the apartment." The truth was Brooklyn and I had been texting a lot. Not about Natalie, just talking about books. We both loved mystery novels, especially Louise Penny's Inspector Gamache series. About cooking, she'd sent me her grandmother's recipe for New England clam chowder. About random stuff. It was nice talking to someone who actually seemed interested in what I had to say, who asked follow-up questions instead of immediately redirecting the conversation back to herself. Moving day came and Natalie made sure to be there, inviting over her friend group to help witness my departure and provide a chorus of disapproval. Her friend Tiffany kept saying things like, "I can't believe you're actually doing this," and "Nat deserves so much better than this petty revenge." Cool. "She can have it then," I replied, loading my gaming chair into the U-Haul. As I was loading the last box, my collection of craft beer brewing equipment, Natalie pulled me aside. "You know, you can still change your mind. I'm willing to forgive this tantrum." "Forgive?" I set the box down. "You told me I'm not your type and you want to sleep with other people." I said open relationship. It's different. More evolved. More honest about human nature. "Well, I'm not evolved enough for that. Good luck with everything." She grabbed my arm, her French manicure digging into my skin. "Wait, we're still going to be friends, right? We have the same friend group. We'll see each other around." "I guess we'll see." The next day she showed up at my new apartment. I hadn't given her the address, but it wasn't hard to figure out since she knew the building. I was assembling my IKEA bookshelf when I heard the knock. "Nice place," she said, looking around with judgment in her eyes. "Very, Bachelor Pat. Brooklyn helped you decorate?" "Just gave some suggestions." "She's been avoiding my calls." "That's between you two, Natalie. What's really going on here?" "First, you overreact to an honest conversation. Then you move into my best friend's building. Now she's acting weird. It's like you're deliberately trying to destroy my relationships." My doorbell rang. It was Brooklyn with a potted succulent and a six-pack of Deschutes fresh squeezed IPA. "Housewarming gifts," she said with a smile. Then she noticed Natalie. "Oh, hi Nat." The tension was thick enough to cut with a butter knife. Natalie looked between us and I could see the wheels turning, calculating, assessing. "Are you two?" "Are we what?" Brooklyn asked, genuinely confused. "You know what? Forget it. This is ridiculous." Natalie stormed out, her heels clicking angrily on the hardwood. Brooklyn watched her go, then turned to me. "She's going to make this weird, isn't she?" "Probably. Worth it though. She's been a pretty terrible friend lately. Always making everything about herself." Brooklyn sat on my couch, cracking open a beer. "Anyway, did she tell you about Cameron?" "Who's Cameron?" "The guy from her CrossFit gym she's been flirting with for months. She showed me their text messages. That's probably why she wanted an open relationship." Suddenly, everything made more sense. Natalie went nuclear when she found out Brooklyn and I were dating. It happened naturally. We were already friends, she lived right down the hall, and we started having dinner together, binge-watching true crime documentaries, going for morning runs along the Willamette River. She made me laugh with her terrible impressions of the serial podcast narrator. She actually listened when I talked about my work developing educational software. She got excited about my side project, an app for book clubs, instead of dismissing it as cute, like Natalie always did. 2 weeks after I moved in, Brooklyn kissed me while we were making homemade pizza together. Pepperoni and mushroom, nothing fancy, but it felt like the most important meal of my life. "I've wanted to do that for a year," she admitted, flour still dusting her cheek. "What about Natalie? What about her? She told you that you weren't her type. She's been emotionally cheating with CrossFit Cameron for months. She treats you like an accessory, not a partner. I'm done watching her take you for granted." We decided to keep it quiet at first, but Natalie has a sixth sense for these things. She started showing up at the building more often, always with excuses to visit Brooklyn. "I was in the neighborhood. I brought you that book I mentioned. I wanted to see your new curtains." Brooklyn stopped answering the door. Then came the confrontation. Natalie cornered us in the lobby as we were coming back from dinner at Le Pigeon, both of us still laughing about something the waiter had said. "I knew it. I knew it." She was shaking with rage, her voice echoing off the marble walls. "How long has this been going on?" "About a week," I said calmly. "You've been planning this. You used our breakup as an excuse to get with my best friend. This is sick, Wesley. This is sociopathic behavior." Brooklyn stepped forward, her hand finding mine. "Actually, Nat, you told him he wasn't his type and tried to manipulate him into letting you date other people while he waited at home like a faithful dog. You did this. You're supposed to be my friend. There's girl code. Girl code doesn't mean supporting you when you're treating someone like garbage. You literally told me last month that Wesley was just comfortable, and you were waiting for something better to come along." I turned to Natalie. "You said that?" She had the decency to look slightly ashamed for about 2 seconds. "That was private. Mel, how could you? How could I? How could you? You've been sexting with Cameron for months. That's different. Cameron and I have chemistry. Then go be with Cameron, I said. Why are you here yelling at us? Her face crumpled like a paper bag. Because Cameron has a girlfriend. He was never going to leave her. I found out yesterday. There it was. The real reason for her anger. That's not our problem, I said. You made your choice. You have to end this. It's wrong. You had Diego and I was your boyfriend, but that didn't stop you from shopping around. She started crying, the manipulative kind where she peeks through her fingers to see if it's working. You're ruining everything. Our whole friend group is going to implode because of your selfishness. Only if you make it weird, Brooklyn said. We're happy. Why can't you just let us be happy? Because it's wrong. Wesley, you're just doing this to hurt me. To get revenge because your ego couldn't handle some honest feedback. Nat, I'm doing this because Brooklyn actually likes me. The real me, not some idealized version she's trying to mold me into. Natalie pulled out her phone, fingers flying over the screen. I'm telling everyone. Everyone's going to know what kind of people you both are. She stormed off, already typing furiously, probably drafting her victim narrative for social media. Over the next few days, the harassment escalated. She showed up at my workplace, a tech company in the South Waterfront, demanding to speak with me. Security had to escort her out. She created fake accounts to follow Brooklyn's Instagram and leave nasty comments. She sent long, rambling emails to mutual friends, explaining how we'd betrayed her and stabbed her in the back. But the worst was when she showed up drunk at my apartment at 2 a.m., pounding on the door hard enough to wake the neighbors. You turned everyone against me, she screamed through the door. You turned them against yourself, I replied, not opening up. I didn't say anything to anyone. Brooklyn poisoned them. She shared private conversations. Brooklyn appeared in the hallway in her pajamas. She'd basically been living at my place anyway. I shared the truth when asked directly, she said calmly. Like how you've been calling Wesley your placeholder boyfriend for months. I was venting. Friends vent. Friends don't usually vent about hoping their boyfriend's startup fails so he'll be too depressed to leave them. I stared at Natalie through the peephole. You said that? She was trapped. I didn't mean. Get out. Don't come here again. This isn't over. You can't just steal my life. What life? The one where you keep people around as backup plans? Where you use people until something better comes along. That life. She tried one more manipulation. Fine, I'll tell your mother about this. She loves me. She'll make you see reason. Go ahead. I already told her everything. She said, and I quote, "Thank God you finally got away from that narcissist." That broke her. Natalie's smear campaign backfired spectacularly. She went to our entire friend group with her version. I was a vindictive ex who seduced her best friend to get revenge. Brooklyn was a backstabbing friend who violated girl code. We were both terrible people who deserved each other. What she didn't count on was that people had been watching her relationship with me for 2 years. They'd seen how she treated me, how she'd flirt with other guys at parties while I was right there, how she'd make jokes about settling for me, how she'd criticize everything from my job to my hobbies to my appearance. Our mutual friend, Autumn, was the first to speak up in the group chat. Nat, didn't you literally tell us last month that you were going to dump Wesley after New Year's because you didn't want to be alone for the holidays? Then Connor chimed in, yeah, and you showed us those DMs from that CrossFit guy. You were basically having an emotional affair. The tide turned quickly. People started sharing stories, how Natalie had tried to get with Brooklyn's ex while they were still together. How she'd spread rumors about Autumn's promotion being suspicious. How she'd borrowed money from multiple people and forgotten to pay it back. Natalie tried damage control, but it was too late. The truth was out, and it painted a picture of someone who'd been manipulating and using people for years. Brooklyn and I watched it unfold from the safety of my couch, eating takeout from Tasty and Alder and binge-watching the Great British Baking Show. I feel bad for her, Brooklyn said, twirling lo mein around her chopsticks. I don't, I replied. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. My phone buzzed. Another text from Natalie. Everyone will see who you really are eventually. I blocked her number. You know what's crazy? Brooklyn said. She was right about one thing. What's that? We weren't each other's type. She needed someone she could manipulate and control. You needed someone who actually liked you. She was right. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt like I could breathe. 3 months later, Brooklyn and I are thriving. We cook together. She taught me how to make proper risotto, and I showed her my grandmother's recipe for cornbread. We laughed together. She reads my app development blog posts and gives actual feedback instead of saying, "That's nice, babe," while scrolling through her phone. She introduces me to people as her boyfriend with pride, not with qualifying statements like Natalie always used. "This is Wesley, my boyfriend," instead of, "This is Wesley. He's in tech." Well, trying to be. Her lease is up next month. She's moving in with me. My 720 square feet of happiness beats Natalie's inherited Victorian house of manipulation any day. The best part? That app one was developing, Bookbridge, a platform connecting book clubs and authors, just got picked up by a major publisher for their community outreach program. Turns out when you're not constantly being torn down by your partner, you actually have energy to succeed. Brooklyn was there when I got the call, jumping up and down in our tiny kitchen like she'd won the lottery herself. "I knew it. I knew you were brilliant," she said, throwing her arms around my neck. For the record, Natalie had always said the app was cute but impractical, and questioned whether there was really a market for that sort of thing. Last I heard, Natalie moved back in with her parents in Lake Oswego. Victorian house or not, she couldn't afford the utilities and maintenance fees alone. She joined a different gym to avoid Cameron and is telling anyone who will listen that she's the victim of a coordinated betrayal by her closest friends. Meanwhile, I wake up every morning next to someone who chose me, not someone who settled for me while shopping for something better. Funny how being someone's type has nothing to do with height or muscles or whatever impossible checklist they're carrying around. It's about finding someone who sees you, actually sees you, and thinks, "Yes, this one. This is the one I want." Natalie was right about one thing though. We weren't each other's type. Good thing we were both honest about it in the end.